prince's horse suddenly jumped straight into the sea. The ocean parted, opening up a glowing path between two walls of water. The Dragon King clapped his hands in delight. Brilliant, just brilliant. You have brought glory to our kingdom. Hi there, Ziola here. Welcome back, my friend. So last time, we followed Ma Ji into that strange and upside-down world of the city of the Rakshasas, a place where the uglier you are, the higher your status, and beauty is treated like a curse. So people with normal faces lived in poverty and even treated as monsters if they look handsome or beautiful. So Ma Ji tried to survive in that twisted world and even became someone he barely recognized. But deep down, he knew he didn't belong there. In today's episode, we'll see what happens after he leaves that bizarre city behind and set out to the sea, where he'll discover the legendary sea market. Oh, and here's a quick note about sea market. So the word 海市 literally means the sea market mirage. It came from a real natural phenomenon called mirage. When light bends in the hot air above the ocean, making distant objects like cities, towers look as if they are floating above the water. In ancient China, people believed these glowing, dreamlike scenes were magical cities that appear and disappear over the sea, hence the name of sea market. So, let's pick up where we left off. A few days later, some wealthy merchants from the city came to the village, bringing bags of silver and gold. They asked the villagers to go to the sea market and buy treasures on their behalf. So Ma Ji decided to join them. Together, they loaded the money onto a big flat-bottomed boat. After 3 days at sea, Ma Ji saw an incredible sight. Towering buildings shimmering above the water, with trading boats packed so tightly it looked like they were swarming ants. When they docked and went ashore, the sea market was dazzling. Rows and rows of glowing pearls, coral ornaments, and treasure unlike anything found in the human world. Just then, a young man on horseback came riding through the crowd, and people panicked and scattered, whispering that he's the third prince of the Eastern Sea. The prince slowed his horse and glanced at Ma Ji. This man was not from around here. One of his attendants came over to ask Ma Ji who he was. Ma Ji bowed and introduced himself politely. The prince smiled. "Well, it must be fate that we meet here," he said. "Come right with me." And just like that, he handed Ma Ji a horse, and the two of them rode off together towards the western side of the city. When they reached the island, the prince's horse suddenly jumped straight into the sea. Ma Ji panicked, but to his shock, the ocean parted, opening up a glowing path between two walls of water. At the end of it stood a magnificent palace, its walls shining like crystal and its roof covering in fish scales that shimmered in every color. Inside, the Dragon King sat high on his throne. The prince bowed and said, "Your Majesty, I met a scholar from China at the sea market and brought him here to meet you." The Dragon King smiled. "Oh, a man of letters from China. Would you write something for us, like a poem about the sea market?" And Ma Ji bowed. "It would be my honor." He wrote the poem on fine glowing paper, and when he finished, the Dragon King clapped his hands in delight. "Brilliant, just brilliant. You have brought glory to our kingdom." And later at the banquet, after several rounds of wine, the Dragon King said, Maji, I have a daughter, kind, wise, and still unmarried. Would you be willing to marry her? Shocked but deeply grateful, Maji agreed. And soon he met the dragon princess, a radiant beauty who looked like she'd stepped out of a dream. Not long after, the Dragon King made him the prince consort. His poem spread across the sea, and every ocean king sent gifts and congratulations. In the Dragon Palace, there was a beautiful jade tree, its trunk clear as crystal, its leaves shining like green gemstone. When the flowers bloomed, each petal that fell made a soft ringing sound, like tiny pieces of gold and jade. Sometimes a rare bird with shimmering gold and blue feather would fly over the palace. Its song was so clear and beautiful that it sounded like music played on jade instrument. Ma Ji and the Dragon Princess often sat under the jade tree, singing and writing poems together. But whenever Ma Ji heard that bird's sad call, he couldn't help but think of home. So one day he said to the princess, "It's been 3 years, honey, since I left. I miss my parents so much. Would you come home with me?" The dragon princess shook her head softly. "The path between our worlds can't be crossed. I can't go with you, but I understand your longing. Let me think of a way." Ma Ji's eyes was filled with tears. The princess sighed. "I wish love and duty didn't have to pull us apart." The next day, the Dragon King learned that Ma Ji was homesick and allowed him to return to human world. Ma Ji thanked him sincerely for all his kindness and promised that he would never forget the favor. That night, the Dragon Princess held a farewell banquet. As they sat together, Ma Ji asked softly, "When will I see you again?" Seeing Ma Ji's eyes filled with tears, the Dragon Princess smiled sadly. "Our fate together has already run its course, so go home and take care of your parents. That's your true devotion. Life is short and full of meetings and partings. Don't grieve too much. You'll keep your loyalty and I'll keep my faith. Even if we're apart, our hearts are still joined." Before they parted, the Dragon Princess told Ma Ji she would stay faithful to him and ask him to do the same. Then she quietly said she was expecting his child. So she asked him to choose a name for the baby. Ma Ji said, "If it's a girl, name her Longgong, which means Palace of the Dragon. If it's a boy, call him Fu Hai, which means Blessing of the Sea." Before Ma Ji left, the Dragon Princess gave him a pouch made of fish skin filled with treasures, telling him it would be enough to provide for his family for generations. She asked him to return to the South Island in 3 years on the 8th day of the 4th lunar month to see their child again. At dawn, the Dragon King held another farewell banquet, and the princess personally escorted Ma Ji to the shore. Before they parted, she softly said, "Take care." Then she disappeared into the mist of the sea, closed behind her. When Ma Ji finally returned home, everyone was so shocked. They had all thought he was long dead. His parents were still alive, but his wife had remarried. Only then did he realize what the Dragon Princess meant when she told him to stay faithful. She already knew that this day would come. Ma Ji refuses to remarry, but took a maid as his company. He never forgot the promise. 3 years later, he sailed to the South Island. There, floating on the calm sea, were 2 children, a boy and a girl, laughing and splashing in water without sinking. When Ma Ji reached for them, The boy grabbed his arm and leaped into his embrace, while the girl began to cry as if blaming him for not picking her up first. Maji quickly pulled her in too. Both children were beautiful and wearing flower crowns decorated with red jade lotuses, which Maji had once given the princess. On their backs, he found a silk pouch containing a letter from her. In the letter, the dragon princess wrote about how much she missed him, how much she often dreamed of him, and imagined holding their children together. She said she would remain faithful forever, and though they could not be together, they were still husband and wife in spirit. She also promised that when his mother passed away, she would come to attend the funeral herself to fulfill the duty as a daughter-in-law. So reading the letter, Maji couldn't hold back his tears. The children hugged him and said, "Let's go home." Maji looked out over the endless sea, blue waves meeting the sky. But the dragon princess was gone, lost beyond the horizon. So he took his children in his arms, boarded the ship, and quietly sailed home. When Maji's mother passed away, a mysterious woman in mourning suddenly appeared at the grave, then vanished in a flash of thunder and rain. After that, the trees Maji had planted around the tomb came back to life. Years later, Maji's son Fuhai once disappeared into the sea for days, and when he returned, he had seen his mother. His daughter Longgong often wept alone, missing her too. So one day, the dragon princess appeared, comforted her daughter, and left her gifts for marriage. Hearing her voice, Maji rushed in. But before he could reach her, thunder struck, and she was gone once again. Their love lived beyond the sea and beyond life itself. And I'll end with this reflection, which was written by Pu Songling himself. People who wear fake faces just to fit in are no different from ghosts. There are always those who find pleasure in the sick and ugly side of things. It's just part of the world. Writers who feel a little ashamed of pleasing the others are often praised for being good, while those who feel deeply ashamed are called great. If an honest man were to walk through such a world as himself, people would probably run from him in fear. Like the fool once wept over a priceless jade, and no one recognized. True worth often goes unseen. And maybe, just maybe, real honor and beauty can only be found in a dream or in a mirage over the sea. I'm Ziola. See you next time. Hi there, Ziola here. Do you ever find yourself missing those childhood stories as a teen or young adult? Some of them felt very scary when you first heard them, and some seemed pretty strange once you look back on them later. Before I moved to the US, I was already super familiar with Greek mythology, Bible stories, and a lot of classic Western fairy tales. But after I got here, I realized that most people around me had never even heard about the old myths or the stories of China. Some of my friends might know a bit about Japanese tales because of the anime they're watching, but Chinese tales, almost no one. That's why I'm starting this channel, to share some of the amazing stories I had grown up with. Some were told to me by my grandmother, and other came from this classic book, Liao Zhai, which literally translates to Tales Told at the Dinner Table. Anyway, I hope you enjoy these stories. Drop a comment to let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe.